Hey everybody, happy Thursday. It's been a little while since we've done one of these weather chats. Been traveling on and off throughout the month, but I'm back in Northern California hopefully for a while. No travel plan until a little bit closer to the holidays, but it's good to be back. We've had great weather the last couple of days. Got a little bit of showery, cool, overcast weather coming up this weekend. But for those of you in the valley and even some parts of the foothills, there's going to be plenty of dry time this weekend, so I'll help you pick some of that out. If you're going to the Sierra, it's looking unpleasant. Not snowy, at least not down at pass level, not down at lake level around Tahoe. Snow level's going to be up 8,000 feet most of the time, but just wet, cold, and windy, especially on Saturday. So we'll look at the weekend details a little bit more. I also mentioned we're going to talk about what is right now Tropical Storm Melissa in the Caribbean, but it will likely become Hurricane Melissa here very soon, and this one's going to be nasty. Fortunately not for the U.S. There's currently no threat to the United States, but for pretty much the entire island of Jamaica, eastern Cuba, and Haiti at this point, this is just going to be just a worst case scenario. I've been reading some of the language from the National Hurricane Center, and it's pretty scary. So, we can be grateful we're here in Northern California. If you or anybody you know has plans to travel to Jamaica over the next couple of days, hopefully they're canceling their plans. If anybody's there now, hopefully they're able to get out. This is the kind of storm you want to get out from, if you can. We'll get to Melissa in a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about our forecast. Today, tomorrow, beautiful days. Great days to be outside. The mornings will be cool. We're going to start out with a little bit of fog. So let me pull up. Give me just a second. Sorry, it's been a little bit. It's kind of like riding a bike, I guess. All right, here's our fog model. Overnight tonight and into tomorrow. Just like this morning, I don't see anything widespread tomorrow. But this morning it was mainly the east side of the valley. Tomorrow morning before 8 a.m., there could be some spots on the west side of the Sacramento Valley and into the Delta, where we see some low clouds with a marine layer and maybe some areas of reduced visibility as well. So traveling over the causeway may be a little bit murky around sunrise. Parts of 99 going up through Sutter County may be a little bit murky. Parts of I-5, maybe some stretches there, and even going down through the San Joaquin Valley. Just some parts of those freeways that may be a little bit socked in, but by noon it's clear. Everybody's looking at lots of sunshine. And that's really the only hiccup in the day on Friday. For Friday evening football, any other night plans on Friday, we're not talking about rain yet. Our rain chances start moving in very late Friday night into early Saturday morning. But even as we go through the weekend, these rain chances are very hit and miss for the valley. More miss rather than hit, so more dry rather than wet. But it is going to be a lot cooler. Today's highs were in the mid-70s. Tomorrow's will be too. But Saturday and Sunday for the valley, it's going to be overcast and we'll be back in the 60s, kind of like what we were talking about yesterday. Just with a little bit more rain than what we saw yesterday. Yesterday it was just a couple of sprinkles. So with that being kind of the main event, let's just jump right in with Futurecast. Now keep in mind, this is just one model. This is our in-house model. Some of the models that I show you, you can access anywhere, free, online. You just need an internet connection. This is unique to us and to other companies that use, or other stations that use the same weather graphic software. Anyway, so here's 9:30 Friday evening. For anybody traveling to Mendocino, Humboldt County, you'll run into some rain Friday night, and that's going to be there through the weekend too. Here is just before sunrise on Saturday morning. So we'll get some raindrops in the valley. These showers may drop a couple hundredths of an inch of rain, the kind of thing where it's, just enough to, I think it was Gulston who said, rearrange the dirt on your windshield. That kind of thing. But notice how you go up the west slope of the Sierra, we're going to have winds coming from the west. So we get what we call orographic flow. We get the moisture, we get the air moving at the mountains force that air to rise, and then that just kind of acts like a sponge. So all the best moisture gets wrung out where we're squeezing it, and the mountain's doing the squeezing there, so the mountain's getting the best rain. So already a wet start here on 80. If anybody's making an early morning trip, up over 80, even 50. If you're headed to Tahoe, if you're trying to get to Reno, yeah, it's going to be wet and it's going to get windy too. We'll talk about winds in a little bit. So this model, it kind of pauses the precipitation. My hunch is that it's going to be kind of drizzly and damp above 4,000 feet all day Saturday. Not that we're going to see widespread soaking rain, but yeah, just kind of a wet day up there. For the valley, overcast at 4 o'clock Saturday afternoon and just sprinkles, but a lot of dry time too. So that's Saturday. We get another wave of moisture coming in on Sunday. So here's 6 a.m. For you early risers, some light rain showers in the valley, but just like Saturday, coastal mountains, Sierra Mountains, that's where we see the best precipitation. Snow level's going to drop a little bit Sunday morning as we get some cooler air coming in, but we're still thinking it stays above 7,000 feet. We're not seeing, you know, any chain control concerns over Donner or Echo Summit at this point. It's the kind of thing where, you know, the tallest peaks of the ski resorts up there will get a little bit of snow. Sonora Pass is going to be closed as this comes through. So of course, Sonora Pass much higher than Donner or Echo Summit. They will get some snow up that way. Yeah, here's 7 o'clock Sunday morning. It's just kind of showery for the valley. It's not going to be a washout, but it is going to be a little soggy for the first half of the day. But it will be wetter on the west slope of the mountains. Yeah, Sunday, at least on that model, is looking a little wetter than Saturday, but I hesitate to pick which day is going to be wetter at this point because we're just in one of these unsettled and somewhat uncertain kinds of patterns. It just all depends on the timing of that next pulse of moisture coming through. But that's what our in-house model shows. So steady rain at times on the west slope of the Sierra, hit and miss showers for the valley. All right, Robert is checking in on my Facebook page. He says that works for Saturday night, ghost tours in Auburn. Yeah, that's spooky season weather right there. Vicky is once again checking in from Oakdale on my page. Hi, Vicky. Alberto says hi from Tracy. Good to have the heat gone for good. Yeah, I was looking at some of the record highs. I think tomorrow for Sacramento is the last day with a record high of 90 plus. So now the records are in the 80s. Yeah, we're done with the heat at this point. David is checking in on the KCRA page. He is leaving for Reno Sunday morning. Yeah, David, I'm not seeing snow at pass level over 80 at all this weekend. If you're leaving early, you may see, you know, some kind of fat, wet flakes mixing in with the rain. I don't think you're going to have chain controls on 80, but it is going to be wet and it's going to be breezy too. It's just, I mean, be ready to take it slow going over the summits. And it's going to be breezy on the east slope of the Sierra too. Saturday's the windier of the 2 days, but Sunday is still breezy. All right, that's the KCRA page. Let's check in with YouTube real quick. All right, nothing in the YouTube channel. If you guys have any forecast questions, you can just post them in the comments, whether you're on Facebook, YouTube, the KCRA page, my page. I'm doing my best to check all of them at this point. Let's talk about the wind. The wind, I mean, it's going to be breezy in the valley on Saturday as that initial little band of showers comes through. But the stronger wind is going to be in the Sierra. So this wind advisory was put up this afternoon by the National Weather Service. It's the area shaded in tan. So this includes Tahoe, it includes eastern Alpine County. This is really east of the Sierra crest, but it's going to get windy up that way. Southwest winds sustained at 25 to 35 miles per hour. Again, this is Saturday. With gusts around the Tahoe area, so South Lake Tahoe, Truckee, Tahoe City, Donner. Winds gusting to 45 miles per hour there. If you get into some of the more exposed wind-prone areas, tops of some of the ski resorts, and then over into Nevada, say around Reno, the 395 stretch, the 580 stretch, that's where we could get some gusts kind of screaming down the east slope of the Sierra. If you know the area well, you know what I'm talking about here. With some wind gusts of 50 to 60 miles per hour. So Saturday is going to be a windy day, a day where if you're traveling over the summits, you absolutely need both hands on the wheel and just be ready for just kind of some unpleasant weather there. So that's from 11 a.m. Saturday to 11 p.m. Saturday. Sunday is going to be breezy too. I'm going to call up a different model here over on the browser so we can just kind of take a look. We'll see how well that actually fits in. Not very well. Okay, we'll do our best here. So here, this is Friday afternoon. You can kind of make out the little wind arrows here. A little bit of a southwesterly breeze picking up. But this is Saturday, and this really highlights where the strongest of the winds will be, this fuchsia coloring. Now keep in mind that's on some of the ridge tops, but those are winds close to 50 miles an hour. So yeah, just a classic downslope wind there on the east slope of the Sierra. Really windy in places like Reno, Carson City. Windy over the Sierra crest. Those are the wind exposed places. But you get down into some of the valleys around Tahoe. It's still windy, winds gusting to 40. Saturday and Sunday are certainly not days you want to be out on Lake Tahoe. But this system coming in with some decent rain and some wind as well. Speaking of rain, I realize I haven't shown you how much rain we're talking about. And this is something I was trying to emphasize yesterday. If you saw my post on social media, I kind of made the comparison of, okay, there's headlines out there saying atmospheric river, and well, yes, moisture from an atmospheric river is an ingredient in the weather for the West Coast this week. The focus of the true atmospheric river storm, that's going to be the Pacific Northwest. That's where, you know, you've got your garden hose and it's on full blast. That's where they're getting the rain. The rain we see, since we're on the southern edge of this whole system, we just kind of get these little trailing waves that kind of lose their punch as they move south. So it's kind of like how, okay, you've been using the hose, but now you turn the spigot off. There's still some water left in the hose line. The longer you hold the nozzle, the weaker the flow of water gets. That's kind of what we're looking at here in Northern California. So this is what we're looking at rain totals wise. And this is Saturday and Sunday combined. I know it's a lot of numbers, so I'll leave this up for a little bit, just let you digest. What I want to point out here is that places like Blue Canyon, other spots around 4,000 or 5,000 feet in the Sierra, north of 80, that's where the heaviest rain is going to be. Western Plumas County, eastern Butte County, getting up into the hills of eastern Tehama County. That's where we'll see, you know, an inch or two of rain. You come down into the valley, combined between Saturday and Sunday, some places may not get anything measurable. In Stockton, Modesto, as these little bands of rain move from north to south, they dry out. Stockton, Modesto, west side of the San Joaquin Valley, I doubt you get anything measurable. The foothills adjacent to the San Joaquin Valley, not a lot. This is going to be one of those setups where, you know, north of 80 we do better, and above 4,000 feet we do better as far as the rain goes. So this is far from a soaker in the valley. That's why we're emphasizing, if you have outdoor plans, it should be okay. It's going to be cool, it's going to be cloudy, but rain will be kind of sparse here. It's really these areas, Yuba County, Sutter County, Placer, Sierra County. That's where the rainfall totals will be higher. But notice Truckee and South Lake Tahoe, 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch, that's rain. We are not going to see snow at lake level in Tahoe, Truckee, and South Lake, close to lake level. So, yeah, a good soaking rain for the west slope. But this system is not a snowmaker. It's going to be rainy, and for the mountains, it's going to be windy. It'll be breezy in the valley too, but not to the tune of what we're going to see up in the Sierra. Thomas is asking if the forecast maps show a longer forecast. They do. Into February, not the models I look at. So the forecast models that we tend to rely on, the American model and the European model, those are just two of the big ones. There are others. They cover about 2 weeks. Our forecast goes out 7 days, and really once you get beyond 5 days, especially this time of the year with things being changeable, your forecast uncertainty just goes way, way up. So my specialty and everybody else here on the KCRA3 weather team, we focus on the next 5 to 7 days. That's our area of expertise. There are people that do long-range forecasting. A lot of them work at NOAA, at the National Weather Service. That's a whole different toolkit that they're using. That's a whole different level of expertise. So I'm not going to pretend to be an expert in long-range forecasting there. And long-range forecasting is still kind of in its infancy too. It's tricky because the forecast is only as good as the forecast model, which is only as good as all the data that we put into it initially. So that was a very long-winded answer of saying, yeah, the models I look at don't go out to February. The models I'm looking at right now go out to early November, and for now they look relatively quiet for Northern California, at least for the time being. Once we get beyond these rain chances this weekend, that could be it for a little bit. Halloween looks dry, so some really good news there. I know the Halloween forecast is always something we pay close attention to, and it seems to fall right in line that we have rain chances around Halloween. It just seems that this time they're coming in the week before. David says, thank you so much. Yeah, you're welcome, David. Yeah, take it slow over the Sierra this weekend. It's doable. I don't think you'll need chains. I think it's just wet, but it's an unpleasant kind of rain there at Donner Summit with the wind too. Okay, so that was a little bit about our forecast here. Let's talk about Tropical Storm Melissa. So we're going to completely switch gears here and talk about the tropical Atlantic, the Caribbean to be specific. So here's what's going on in the Atlantic right now, and for those that even loosely pay attention, you know that this Atlantic hurricane season has been relatively quiet. We've had about an average number of storms, but so far no major impacts with any kind of landfall. There have been some, Caribbean islands that have been grazed by a storm or two, but nothing too serious. So that's all good. But forecasters like to say for hurricane season it only takes one, and unfortunately Melissa could be the one. Now I want to emphasize that Melissa is not a threat to the United States at this point, but this is going to be a big problem for some of the islands in the Caribbean. There it goes. Just took a while to load up. So this is the forecast track for Melissa. So here's this evening, still a tropical storm. Sustained winds right now 45 miles per hour. This forecast goes out 5 days. So this goes out to next Tuesday. The storm barely moves. So that's concern number one. If it were barely moving out in open water, I mean, no big deal. But this is the island of Jamaica right here. This storm is going to be moving very slowly right along the south coast of the island of Jamaica. That's where we have tropical storm warnings up now. Same thing for southwestern Haiti. That's the Tiburon Peninsula. But the M you see here, that's where, this is Sunday morning, Melissa forecast to be a major hurricane somewhere near the island of Jamaica. Now remember, the center of the storm can be anywhere in this cone here. But this is Saturday morning, the storm is here. All the way through the weekend, the storm has only gone, oh gosh, maybe 100 miles or so. So barely moving. All the while, it's strengthening into a major hurricane with maximum winds of more than 110 miles per hour, heavy rain to go along with that, and it just kind of skirts around the island. So I was reading some of the messaging from the National Hurricane Center here regarding Jamaica, Haiti. Some of this wording is really strong, and I think appropriately so. For Haiti, they're saying extensive damage to roads and buildings expected, potentially isolating communities for an extended period of time. Yeah, so I mean, you're talking winds potentially over 100 miles per hour for days on the island of Jamaica, if that forecast holds. You're also talking about some ridiculous rainfall amounts. I don't know how well you can see this. This is the island of Jamaica here. These are 3-day rainfall forecasts, and right now, the National Weather Service, close to a foot of rain, and that is just as the storm is starting to move towards Jamaica. So it's not unrealistic to say that Melissa could be producing feet of rain for the island of Jamaica with strong gusty winds. Yeah. Yeah, it's a scary situation. We're going to be hearing a lot about that, I think, as we go through the next couple of days. Again, no immediate threat to the U.S. It looks like as Melissa kind of starts to jog northward, there's a weather system that's going to scoop it up and quickly carry it off to the east. But never good to see a storm of that strength potentially moving that slowly, that close to an area of land, especially a small area of land where there's really nowhere for people to go, for water to go. So that's a scary situation setting up there in the Caribbean. We'll be thinking about everybody there this weekend for sure. Lisa is checking in. Did you say no rain on Halloween? Yeah, it looks like it right now. It looks like it's going to be dry on Halloween. Of course, we'll let you know if that changes. Halloween enters the 7-day tomorrow. Yeah, Halloween's next Friday. So you'll see it in our forecast starting tomorrow, but giving you a little heads up now. Halloween, for now, looks dry, but it is October. Things can change. Hopefully they don't. Halloween is always more fun when we don't have to deal with rain. Right? We don't have to worry about rainproofing the Halloween costumes, especially for the kids. I grew up in Pennsylvania, so trick-or-treating, we usually had to think of a way to layer up to be warm with those Halloween costumes. And I think that may be something we talk about as we get into next week as well. I mean, this time of the year, it gets chilly at night. But for now, Halloween forecast looks pretty good. What's your favorite candy to give out on Halloween? If anybody's listening, I'm curious. Patrick is checking in from Lakeport. He says it's 61 degrees. Yeah, I love this time of the year. The temperatures are just nice and comfortable. Cool mornings, warm afternoons. Here's our storm we're watching for the weekend. And again, to be clear, yeah, I said storm. The storm is up here. For us in Northern California, we're going to kind of get the dregs. The showers, the wind in the mountains. Yeah, I think the wind in the Sierra is going to be the biggest issue, but the strongest gusts will be away from where lots of people end up. But around Tahoe, yeah, it'll be windy. Winds gusting 40 to 45 miles per hour on Saturday. If you're hearing atmospheric river in the headlines, I know it's been buzzing around for the last week. Yeah, here's our atmospheric river. It's going to be pointed at British Columbia, then coastal Washington, then coastal Oregon. It's not going to reach us here in Northern California. At least not in its full strength. We're just getting showers. So that's all good there. All right, well, thanks for joining me for a Thursday weather chat. Going to plan on booting these up again Tuesdays and Thursdays around 8:15. We'll talk about whatever the big weather stories are. Hopefully we've got more rain to talk about here in the coming weeks, but once we get beyond Sunday, things look pretty quiet. So again, the weekend for the valley, not a washout. It's going to be cool. It's going to be cloudy. We'll have showers at times. Foothills in the Sierra, north of 80 especially, yeah, it's going to be a little soggy. But getting rain this time of the year is a good thing. Keeping moisture in the ground is a good thing. Just think of something cozy to do this weekend. Be a good weekend for that. Maybe make some soup or do something like that. All right, have a great night. I will see you at 10 o'clock on My 58 and 11 o'clock on KCRA. And I'll join you for another one of these weather chats next Tuesday.